Hey guys, gals, and booknook pals, it's Pluck the Bunny with another unboxing, and today we have a MiniCity booknook. We are doing Sleeping Beauty. Obviously not based on the Disney movie, but rather the original source material. So, looking at what we got, open it up, we see our standard plentiful bounty from a MiniCity kit. We have our tube of B7000 glue, which is awesome. I like this glue, especially if I'm crafting on the go, because it's got a resealable cap, and the spike in the cap does keep the built-in precision tip from clogging up. So that's really nice. This is going to go in the drawer of B7000s. We have our wonderful little sanding stick, and you know what we do with the sanding stuff that is useless, and we throw it away because it doesn't do anything. What's neat is I do see some flocking in here, or not really flocking, but some greenery, which does make me think there's going to be some green ground or some bushes or some kind of foliage that we're going to have to assemble, which is cool. That's not a thing you see in a lot of MiniCity booknooks, so it's nice to see them expanding. Oh, look at this. A miniature mallet. These are good for some of the tighter pieces. They claim they have smaller tolerances, so the hammer might be necessary. They do include these in a bunch of their kits. I have about 3 or 4 of them now, so that's nice. Looking at our electronics package, we have our pretty standard setup of a multi-LED pigtail with a touch sensor into our standard double AAA. Double AAA, meaning 2 AAAs battery box. I'm probably going to end up rewiring that, but, you know, these are pretty standard with the standard connections. Let's put that aside. We got our MiniCity tweezers. They love their pink tweezers. Every once in a while you get lucky and they give you a blue pair, but usually you get the pink ones. Some tape squares. These are usually what they have you secure the wires for when you're running the LEDs. Again, I don't really like them too much. I think electrical tape works better. Scotch tape actually works better. These just are so small. They don't stick great. They're pretty universal to every manufacturer. It's not a MiniCity thing, but again, they're a pretty big waste of time. And scissors. This is the first time I've seen scissors in a booknook kit. They're cute, they're tiny, and they are crap. These are super dull scissors. So unless they have you break them in half and use them as a display, I'm not really sure how much use I'm going to get out of these specifically, but I'm interested in to see what new feature they included in this kit that they feel requires scissors. So I do appreciate them giving a pair of scissors. I just don't think I'm going to use them myself. We have a big piece of acrylic. I'm assuming this is going to be the front dust cover, and just based on the width of it, I don't know if you guys can tell, that is pretty wide for a booknook. If you look at, this is another one I have that's in progress right now, so you can look at it, it's about 3/4 of an inch to an inch wider than the standard booknook, which is interesting. So that's neat. They do like their acrylic window panels, so we do have some beautiful stained glass here, and with some spots for where the LEDs are clearly going to go. Some dragon's wings, a couple window panes, some, I don't know what, trellises? I don't know what it's called for a bed, like curtains, and I have no idea what this brown stuff is. It could be a gout of fire from the dragons, but we'll have to see as we go on. Moving on to our instruction manual. Flipping through it really quickly, I can see it's in full color, which is always appreciated, because the biggest complaint I see when building booknooks is it's hard to tell the orientation of pieces in the instructions, because some are black and because when they're in black and white, and they don't show the graphics, you can't tell what the orientation of the pieces is. So this is really nice that you see it in full color. There is no question as to what the orientation of the pieces is. I do like how there's explicit instructions here telling you exactly how to run your wiring. If we look at it, this is basically our breakdown, everything that was in there, and just by looking at it really quick, it doesn't look like we're not missing anything, which is nice. They highlight where the push tool is, so that's just a tool to help you pop the pieces out. I see people asking about that before. As with every kit, because I always see people post at the end of their builds that they had a problem, it does say check your LEDs ahead of time. So, you know, you do want to hook up your LEDs and make sure they are working before you go through all the trouble of running them through your kit, because then at the end, if they're not working, you've wasted all that time. So you know what, while we have this on camera, why not just test it out? So we're gonna plug our wires in and we're gonna touch it, and it does look like everything works. So we are good to go with that. All right, moving on. It does look like there's quite a bit of LEDs on here, even though it's pretty standard, you know, single LED setup. They all appeared to be the same color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8. Counting is hard. 9 was including the touch sensor. I do think I'm probably going to switch these over to AA's, just because that's a lot of LEDs to power off with 2 AA's. Also, you guys know I connect all mine to the Alexa through the battery eliminator, and the battery eliminator I have is a AA battery eliminator. But that's pretty much the instruction manual. It does look like it's pretty good. Oh, that's where our foliage is going to be. It looks like it's going to be vines hanging off of a cliff. So that's our instruction manual. Now let's take a look at the meat and potatoes here. The runners. So I'll get my X-Acto knife out. Love my Nova X-Acto knife, so I don't slice my hand up. Always cut it on the side. Hate when I see in videos that they cut it right across the front and put a big old scratch in the book nook. Now, MiniCity in the past I've seen some complaints about the quality of the printing, how the outside of the kits do look like it's very blurry. So they claim to have HD resolution on the printing now. All right, just probably internal since there's no graphics on both sides. This, I'm guessing, is the back, confirming this is indeed a wide kit, and this is our battery access. The accordion wood does feel nice and pliable, which is good, which obviously this is a newer kit, but this doesn't seem like it's been sitting on a shelf for a while. Okay, so I knew this was going to be the case with this kit because I saw it in previews, but this AI art is not my jam. I know it's Sleeping Beauty. There's nothing wrong with there being a sleeping princess on it, but this does not look like it was created by a human. This looks like AI printing. In their defense, this does appear to be high resolution. You can see individual strands of hair. You can see the different petals and the flowers. And it's not blurry. It's just these pictures to me just don't feel. They don't feel real, and I don't love this. So, I mean, thankfully I have a lot of book nooks stacked on a shelf, so this probably won't be seen. If I didn't, more than likely I would have covered this up with alternative graphics. But I do see printing on both sides of these, which, you know, is my favorite thing and the best indicator on whether a kit is high quality, because it means that they put thought into the final product and it's not just a slapdash thing. One thing I'm also noticing, you know, I know a lot of people have been using the binder clip method for identifying their runners, but there are huge identifiers on these runners, so there was no question that this is F and this is E and this is K. I actually like that. That's new. I hadn't thought about that before. Here's our scroll work for the top. I do like the colors. There's a lot of color to the outside, which is nice because it does seem to be very monochromatic internals. But looking at this, I'm seeing printing on both sides of a lot of these runners. And of course, as soon as I say that, I get to 2 runners that don't have it. I'm going to really quickly just fix this because I don't like it when pieces fall out of runners ahead of time. So grab my Scotch tape really quick. I like Scotch tape for this because it doesn't leave residue, but I never have the pieces fall out after, so it's pretty stable in there. And there's our push tool right there. I'm guessing this is where our touch sensor is going to be. I'm not 100% sure. So you always see that they like to leave as little anchor points as possible so the finished pieces come out smooth. But the downside to that is you get these big pieces that just fall out under their own weight. It's nobody's fault, but I just don't like it. All right, beautiful. Look, I mean, look at these entire sheets of double-sided, which means we're not going to have the exposed bare MDF edges, which I personally can't stand. And you know, when it comes down to the final product, you don't want that. You want to put all that work in, just be looking at bare ugly wood. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it here. One thing I like is it's a MiniCity kit that doesn't start off with 300 books for me to build, which is a plus. I see some new features. Not really seeing what those scissors are for. They were not the finest of quality, but I do like that they included them in the kit. And my only real complaint going into this is something I knew I was going to have issue with, and it's just that that graphic is Sleeping Beauty on the side, and Prince Charming on the right is not great either. But you know, we'll see how it goes. I look forward to building this. It's a cool castle. This definitely looks like it would be eminently customizable if you were looking for a medieval theme and you wanted to base. You needed a framework because you didn't want to build it whole cloth. So there you go. Thanks for joining me for another unboxing, and we'll see you around.